Hello, welcome to today's therapy session. p+log. um, I have so many things to say, so I apologize if there's no real title that fits, because it will touch I'm just gonna touch everything in my mind. I wanted to talk about my emotions. Not really. I'm not on any emotions right now, if anything. But just my thoughts about relationships and guys and William, blah, 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 blah. Maybe that's what this video will be titled. Blah, 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 blah. But before I talk about that, I do want to mention how I'm listening to the book of Job, which I'll explain why later. And the audio Bible version that I'm listening to gives the devil this funny robot voice. I thought it was like hilarious, cause it's just like memes do that. Like there was a meme that was memed. It was the number 15 Burger King burger foot lettuce. The last thing you want on your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out, it might be what you get. But that one got memed, okay? So it turned into number 15 Burger King foot lettuce. Anyways. What I wanted, but the reason why I'm listening to Job, right? It starts from Monday. I don't even know why I was listening to Job. It has to do with the movie. Ight Serendipity, an idea that I'm developing that is honestly going all over the place, from being a movie to being a show to being a movie again. It's a mess. But the good thing is the intention of this show / movie slow whatever. It is a means of advertising an idea of seeking spiritual growth. Okay, something that isn't physical, but the idea is to make it physical in the show. Kind of like how in I Heart Huckabees, which is what it parodies, they make physical the idea of someone's existential crisis and how they'll go between two ideas to simplify it. Of course, you go through more than that sometimes. And when someone's on a spiritual journey, yeah, you can go through many ideas. Even as I travel, as I explore my spirituality, I would be open to, not open to like believing it's true, but I have an open ear and I would listen, and I would entertain those ideas even if it's something I'm unfamiliar with. But ultimately, like right now, where I'm at right now is very different from where I was for the last 2 to 3 years. Like I really want to know the Bible because I hate how the devil can trick me. And at this point, I believe the Bible is the only solid solution from staying away from the devil's tricks while maximizing on the truth, which is God. And there's no other total truth that is so pure as the Bible is. I do believe that the Bible is total truth. And that's why I believe it. And pecan serendipity, if time permits, because it's going to be a movie, it's going to be not something that will have the time to explore everything, but it will reflect my own journey. And I would want to showcase, maybe not in the movie, but in the show that eventually comes out of it, because I would like to make a show out of it. But in the show, that you can be meeting people of different religions, and I would want to accurately portray those different religions. Anyways, I'm talking so much I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, exploring spiritual growth. Oh yeah, on Monday. Yes?
Precious.
Yes.
I need your help with something. Could you come real quick?
I'm resting before work. But
It's something that's really easy. It's about the what is it called? This AC. It's only the AC.
Oh, no one else knows about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm trying to do it myself today. I've tried it, but it doesn't. It's not.
I'm back. I don't really remember what I was going to say, so I'm just going to start on the fact that on Monday I came to the idea about how at Baylor, once I finish, I can propose an idea of starting a gap year sort of program for students who are at Baylor, who are going to attend Baylor, or who are attending Baylor and maybe they have to be on leave for whatever reason. And the reason this idea came, again, because I've had this idea before about doing something with Baylor, about gap years and something like that. Or me working with Baylor in some way, because there's this plot of land. I think it's 2013. The address is what I'm saying right now. I think it's 2013 something street. I don't remember. Anyways, it was the address that William gave me. That had a bunch of pecan trees. And I've wanted to use that land, and I was like, you know what, if I can't have it for myself, and because of proximity, it would have to be something Baylor related. Let me just team up with Baylor for something. But the idea of doing gap year with them returned because I was watching a PBS video about this guy from Florida State or something, a professor from Florida State, where he does run, like, he's a professor there and he runs the gap year program for the students. So, and it also, like, it's been proven to improve performance for kids as well as success and retainment, blah blah blah. And I knew that I was going to do something gap year, but then seeing that, I was like, oh, if I team up with Baylor and explain the benefits of it, because they don't have that. Otherwise, I would have been recommended that, right? I say it like I'm mad, but I don't know if I'm mad. Anyways, so that idea came, and then I was like, oh, a gap year would be the perfect setup and plot device or whatever for pecans serendipity, because for the longest time I didn't know what the idea would be. Like, I didn't want it to be as simple as it's a spiritual journey, just because I Heart Huckabees did that already, and I don't want it to be something so boring, because, like, you don't want to repeat something too much. It's like, it's not fun. And once again, although yes, I do want it to be a spiritual journey for these people who take a gap year, I want it to be seen for what it is first, so that it's a little bit more approachable. So yeah, there's that. So I've just been, I don't know why I was listening to, oh yeah, so I'm looking for titles of movies. So at first I was like, it has to be something Bible related, and I wasn't Acts. But then something about the ideas made me think, oh, this is really more about the struggles of someone being persistent in their journey to discovering truth, and all the suffering that they go through. And then I thought of Job. Like, I'm not sure if that was my exact thought process, but pretty much. So yeah. Also, I've been sick, So I am resting. That's why I'm like this and not sitting up like usual. And I did want to have it up here, but for some reason it was too close to my face and I did not want that. Sorry. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is about relationships, because there are people who, like, I mean, there are tons of other things I could talk about, trust me. But it's just not worth the breath. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I can journal about and talk about later when I talk about how I've been feeling at this house. Because it's not perfect. It's not. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. That's what I think of every time. Anyways, yeah, so that'll be for another time. Before I talk about relationships, let me talk about how good things can be good, okay? And then they can also be bad. Good things can be bad. So, the reason why I say this is because school used to be a bad idea for me. 3 times it was a bad idea for me. And I'm pretty sure there are many people who it's a bad idea, but they're doing really well. But anyway, school was a bad idea for me 3 times. And if I didn't mention this in the last p+log where I talked about how I'm alive and how, because I haven't watched, I try not to watch my videos again. Like, if anything, I watch videos that are mainly content, not really about progress. The most I would do when I'm looking back is looking at the titles. And as you can see, sometimes my titles, they're just there so that it's easier to think back on a p+log. If someone was to say which p+log was it, they can just name it. They don't have to go by the number. They can go by the topic or the title, which is supposed to talk about the topic. But I talk about so many things. Anyways, the most I would do is look at the titles and try and think about what I might have said. Anyways, in the last p+log where I talked about how I'm alive today, each time I wanted to go back to school, it was for a bad reason. Fortunately, all those reasons have been killed. I'm now going to school for a good reason, and I celebrate that. But that has opened my eyes. I've opened my eyes to see that it's not only school that's a good thing, but even relationships. And even William. I mean, I know in the last video I might have said that William's like horrible, but it was because I was really extreme about how I feel towards things that I don't have a good intention for or a good motive for. Like, there was even a time where I said Dylan is a bad idea. And I strongly believed that me liking him was just bad news for everybody. But now that I reflect more, it was just at the time. But it's okay, I hope he's doing well. Other than that, I don't know what's happening with him. But with William, even though he's at a different place than me, and it would be so much work, there's nothing wrong with him in regards to my motives to liking him. Or maybe there is. Let me scratch that. There's nothing wrong with liking him as he is. The only problem is my means for being in a relationship, I guess. Like, let me just say it this way. I can't put this succinctly. So just try and understand what I'm saying. William's not a bad guy. He's not the one who made me fall. It was my needs and my deprivation that led me to liking him and led me to cling on to him. That was why he was a bad idea. But if I know myself now, and I know what a relationship should be now, then he is no longer a bad idea. But at the same time, I know what is ideal for a relationship. I know what is ideal for both people involved. and that is that none of us are clinging on to one another. And proof of that is just the last 2 videos I watched. They really just proved how people can be so into each other that they become immobile. And that is a danger, and I think that's a danger that God saved me from as well. Hi. I'm just making a video. But yeah, it was a danger that God saved me from due to the nature of where I was at and the fact that I could not return. Because, I'll tell you, on that phone call, one of the questions he asked was, "Are you still down south?" Referring to, in Texas, San Antonio was south, Waco is more north. You get, so it's like if I was there, things would have been easier for us. But because there was constant distance, nothing could develop. And I'm very glad that it was that way. Oh my goodness. Now it's the daughter. The daughter.
The black guy.
I'm making a video. She wants the pencil in there. Okay, so I'm gonna keep talking as long as she doesn't make noise. Don't make noise, okay? Thanks. So, I need to charge my phone. But yeah, that was a danger that saved both me and him, because we really did click. Okay, take a shower.
Okay.
We really did click. It was something that, I'll speak for myself, was very unique and very motivating. As far as, like, I felt like I could do things, but at the same time, without him, I was stuck. And that showed how much I clung on to him. And that's dangerous. For people who are Christian, you need to be able to do things and be fruitful in the earth. Not just about the other person, because that's selfish. There was a time I even talked about it, about how the reason why people seek sex. It's because of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy. I don't know if it's making a good triangle. So at the bottom is food, shelter, and probably something else. Forgot the word. Maybe it's water. Don't know. That's at the bottom. Next is security and safety. Next after that is belonging. And I've talked about this in my older p+logs from like a year ago. The next one is self-esteem. And then the final one is self-realization, or it's self-actualization. I don't remember. But the point is in that moment, because you are vulnerable with somebody else, and it's something that's really pleasurable and so on, you really just feel like you are in that moment. So in my opinion, it transfers into intimate relationships. And it doesn't have to just be romantic. It could be friendships where you are very honest. If all you can do is be with that person to feel mobile, you are in trouble. You've put yourself in a dangerous position where you can't do much without that person there, when in reality, not everyone's doing the exact same thing as you. Obviously, we're created differently to do different things in the world. So, it's dangerous if you have a relationship that makes you immobile. But it starts with you knowing you need God and letting God do that for you. That's why I'm not going to school for friends or for people to listen to me or because the devil's twisting my arm. I'm going to school because I need education to be useful and to help people. And all people, not just people who I feel need it more than others. And again, if I am to be in a relationship with anybody, not just him, I'm not going to do it because they need me or I need them. It's because we could be more fruitful and there's something that we could benefit and share with people. It's important to share. That's the important part. That's the reason why I think Christianity, once again, is true. Christianity is not selfish in any way. And it's truthful. Every other religion, I believe, is pretty selfish or too selfless. And it's not balanced. Christianity is the only thing that is balanced, in my opinion, and is truthful. So because of that, I'm Christian. Anyways, I'm going to go back to listening to Job. I don't know what else I was supposed to say. Oh, Billie Eilish. Sure. Let me talk about that one for a bit. And by the way, this is why I think, let me talk about what's the song? You Should See Me in a Crown. Just because listening to it just now, while I was taking a shower, it just made so much sense how my opinions are of her. So she says in the first verse, "Bite my tongue, bide my time, wearing a warning sign." I don't remember the rest of the lyrics, but that alone should tell you. She is someone who's careful. She's very careful about what she says and does. But she's still warning people, this is who I am. Which I think she is someone of darkness. Her music will be used for darkness. And then there's another verse in the song where she says, "Tell me which one is first, living or dying first." I think it's a direct contrast to the lyrics from Ride, where they say, "I died for you." That's easy to say. Let me just sing the song. I died for you. That's easy to say. We have a list of people that we would take. A bullet for them, a bullet for you, a bullet for everybody in this room. But I don't seem to see any bullets coming through. Bullets coming through. Metaphorically, I'm your man. But literally, I don't know what I'd do. I'd live for you. And that's harder to do. Even harder to say when you know it's not true. Even harder to write when you know that tonight there are people back home which are talking to you. But you ignore them still. All these questions they're foreign. Like, who would you live for? Who would you die for? And would you even kill? So, I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know the song unless I'm singing it. But in that song, he's trying to raise the question, can you live for somebody? Which is harder. But that's a Christian concept. That you live for the name of Jesus. Like, you live because he lives in you. Like, let me just refer back to 2 Corinthians 5, where he talks about one died, so all died. But then he lives so that all who dies lives in him. So, living is important. Now, for her to be saying which one is worse, and then let me continue that one. She says, living or dying first, sleeping inside a hearse, and then she says, I don't dream. I already knew, for her to be saying, I don't dream, I knew that was a problem. Because if you can't dream and you're a youth, that's a direct contrast once again from the Bible, where the youth are supposed to have vision. So, that's a problem, big time. And then she also, in one of the verses she did say that she's vandalizing dreams. She's saying that she's taking them away, she's changing them. And that's what the devil does too. She's an enemy. Hey, she's a tool of darkness. And then, of course, the chorus is her saying, You should see me in a crown. Your silence is my favorite sound. Watch me something... How does she go? Watch me make them fall, meaning they'll bow, one by one. And she repeats that. So for her, and what her job is, she wants to take over the world. And it's not because she I don't know, it's just the way she's going to take over the world is very subtle. One by one, you see. Billie Eilish is trouble. Be careful. And she's not the only one. She's just the one who's being obvious. For those who can see that. But it's anybody and everybody who says or who does something to take your attention away from what your job is, from what your purpose is. Those are enemies. Those are tactics of the enemy. You have to be careful. Because that devil is jealous. More jealous than you could even comprehend. Because he is willing to kill. So, I know I said a lot in this p+log. I apologize. I just have many thoughts and haven't been doing these for a while. So, if I come up with a good title, enjoy. And see you next time. Also, I haven't done FAFSA. And I'm trying to go back to Baylor. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.